All right, I think we're live. Okay, so this one this time. Oh, all right, so let's do it this way. Let me just make sure all my skills are good. Hey, welcome in, Raiders. Thank you again, Jeremy, for the raid. Right, so welcome in, guys. So I'm gonna be doing a bit of WhiWa testing. Basically, like trying out some different teams and fixing some of my old clears because I was messing around with different tokens. Um, but yeah, we'll naturally be playing some Choyen in honor of Jeremy. So we'll see how this goes. No, I'm not affiliated yet. I only started streaming, I want to say, maybe a month or two ago. And I haven't been super consistent, but trying to get to it. Alright, let's see how we can do. Alright. This should clear this way. A little bit of a mistargeting. Alright. 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 Now. I thought it would be ready, but it wasn't. Alright, I think I may be able to beat my old record. We'll see. Oh, I got interrupted. Unfortunate. Yep, it is. Alright, here we go. Alright, I think this should clear through most of this way. I wonder if I'll be able to. No, I don't think I will. Yeah. Alright, still not too bad. 1392. I actually don't know if that's a higher score than what I got last time. What sequence is he? He is at S0. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get his weapon on this account, but he still puts in work. We might take him into like Tower of Adversity or something like that later. Oh, I never skilled. That's why. Actually, that reminds me. I forgot what team I was playing for a second. Let me change that real fast. Yeah. He's really fun. And of course, his animations are sick. Ooh. Okay. Indeed. Oh, I was kind of hoping that would kill them, but it did not. It's fine though. Okay, anchor. Ooh, barely. Yeah, Luca works really well with him. On my main account, I actually have like the whole Mono Fusion team. Well, the old one, since now obviously we have Gobrina as well. But um, yeah, that team goes nuts. And I kind of want to save the anchor. There we go. This is the perfect time. Yeah, wishing you the best of luck when he comes back. Ooh. We might be able to get them all in time. We'll see. Ooh, just barely gonna be short, I think. Yep. Still a decent score. B192. It is a little bit lower than what I got last time. Okay. Now this, I think... Alright, I think that's about all the whimpering I want to do on this account, but let me actually go on to Tower and see if we can take Choyan for a spin. But yeah, all the male characters in this game are very fun to play. Between the several accounts that I play on, I have access to all of them, and not even one of them is a miss. Alright, this should be good. The Mono Arrow Squad. We'll see how this goes. Boom. First impressions on Luke? He looks really fun. For sure, yeah. I'm gonna stay on field a little bit longer. Yeah, for sure. Okay, trillion time. Oh. Nah, we're manifesting the win. Yo, come on. Alright, a lot of things are actually like going wrong this rotation, but we'll see if we can still make it work. No, I think they mean main DPS. Yep. Ah, very close. I think if I landed this chain of 3 heavies, then that would have been enough. Yep, it was. Alright, we can try that one more time. Oh yeah, do you guys have any guesses for the different characters' elements? True, there are a lot of air characters. As a matter of fact, the account that I'm playing on right now is actually one of my close friends, and they pulled every single aerial character in the game. So if there's another one, they're obligated to pull just to keep this streak going. Fusion would be cool. I wonder why the concerto is not full.
Mandate calls. Judgment falls. Behold this boy.
I think I'm just gonna like not extend his rotation purely because maybe I'll do it this time because I think one of the things that are making the clear a little bit difficult is this box moves around pretty frequently. So I think it might be beneficial to like cycle through my auto skills as quick as possible just to like break him as quickly as I can. And maybe this is enough. It is. Good. So this might cause some problems. I think that missed.
Behold, one strike. To settle it all. Like bamboo.
A little bit short, but we're getting it. If they make him a frazzle healer, he's going to be able to have Shisa. I don't know about that, because the thing about Shisa right now is there's some elements with her kit that don't really pair well with Zani, specifically because um, her signature, which you would expect to be really good for her team, actually doesn't trigger the right effects because for some reason the heliacal embers that Zani like forces your characters to generate, they don't count as negative status for some reason. So I actually don't think she's the best in slot. I don't know if they're gonna come up with a different healer for a negative status. I wouldn't expect them to necessarily, but if they do make one, that would be nice just to have like more options. Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not great for Zani. Like it works for Phoebe, even though it doesn't like super work well, but definitely not well with Zani. All right, let me switch over to my other account. Chisa is very good for Cardathia, and presumably for other upcoming units too. Yeah, exactly. Like it would have been nice if the game was internally coded to like because the reason why like that's an issue is because the the conversion from spectrofrazzle into embers happens like instantaneously. So if there was a way to code that in the game to essentially register that conversion actually happens so that like Chisa's weapon gets activated, then that would have been nice. But because it's not programmed that way, like it kind of doesn't work super well. But yeah, what I wanted to do with this team is see if I could improve this score. I actually kind of want to try. Like, Shorekeeper's good and all, but maybe. Hmm. Because I could do Arrow Rover Chacona on this side. And then on the other side, we can run the Fusion Trio. And I'm actually not sure which one's better between Ponders and this one. I think Ponders will end up being better. And we can keep this one. I'll go Yuno first slot. Let's see if this does better. Choyen, Chikona, and Yuno? I actually have, yeah. Not on my account, because my account actually didn't manage to get Choyen. But on that other account that I was just on, I've tried it before. That team works really well. Chacona is just like really good for any AO team just because she has a lot of arrow damage bonus built into her kit, as well as like her Guts of Vulcan Echo set, right? So the more arrow characters that you end up having on your roster, which if you have Yuno and Choyen, they're both arrow characters, right? So the team ends up performing really well. Right, let's see how this goes. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. I kind of want to save my ulti. There we go. Using my ultimate on these guys is a bit of a waste, so I'll wait till these things spawn. Oh wow, that is a lot of damage. That was not bad. 45-40. Somehow I did better with Johnson and Shorekeeper though. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Like, the thing about Scar is he's in an interesting spot since he's already a boss, right? And as a boss, he deals fusion damage, right? In his like regular form. Of course, in his like goat form, he does havoc, but if we get him as a resonator, I expect him to be fighting as like his regular form. So it would make sense if he's like a fusion burst type of unit.
And here, he started to panic.
Alright, let's see. Oh, there's one that didn't spawn in a good place.
Together we vanish. My blade yearns. Be reduced to cinders.
Oh, I missed it. I think I kind of want to restart this to get a better positioning. Alright, let's try this again. Good. Hopefully this groups them properly. Okay, it did. Will this hit all three of them? Okay, it does.
Clear as the blaze, my blade yearns. My blade yearns. Sever! Who's the caged bird now?
Yeah, no, it's one of the worst feelings for sure.
Climax of the show!
Nice teamwork!
Same actor, different role.
Together we vanish. Clear as the blaze,
Okay, here we go.
yearns.
Yeah, Choyun's forte also kind of has that problem.
Beckon the divine flame. Sever! Take full. Tis of me!
Oh, I missed an instant this time.
At the helm, in the limelight. Same actor, different role.
Oh, that might be a rough positioning.
Listen carefully. Together we vanish. Crosscut. Sever!
Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Who's the caged bird now? Sever! Take applaud for me!
Oh, I missed it again. Wow.
Epic shot.
Oh, unfortunate. 300, not terrible. Do you know might be in 3.0? Yeah, I think I heard that as well. Or the Dia needs rerun, so they might push Chacona again. Yeah.
While the moon cycles, I remain
Well, you never know, because there has been some record of characters rerunning really soon, like one after another. Um, Lupa reran pretty fast. Cantarella also reran really fast because she came out in what 2.2, and then she reran in 2.5 with Frolova, and then she's about to rerun again. So that's three patches between like two different reruns. So if we're going by that formula, Chacona appearing in 2.6 and then again in 3.0 is not that far fetched. It's possible. Yeah, we don't really know what's gonna happen until Kuro decides. Which the live stream for this upcoming version is probably gonna come up relatively soon. Um, because it is a shorter patch. Yeah, take care, Small. Thanks for hanging in here. Yeah, this patch is a 5 week patch instead of the usual 6 week. And the way you can tell is if you go over to the battle pass, you'll see it has 27 days remaining, and it's only been a week, so the length total is 5 weeks instead of the usual 6. Which I don't know if it's intentional, but yeah, 3.0 is going to hit like right around Christmas time. So lots to look forward to, for sure.
While the moon cycles, I remain the anchor.
Yes, 2.5 was also a short patch, and I think 2. Was 2.2? No, it wasn't. I think it was just 2.5, and no, I heard there was another patch that was kind of short, but I don't remember. Yes, I do have Yuno's S6, and not only is she S6, she's also R5. Wife indeed. She is one of my two S6 R5 characters,
I alone will
alongside this one.
for show or for battle.
My two queens. It's actually kind of crazy work because I started right before 2.0, so during the last week or so of 1.4. And originally, I was going to pull on Yinlin because she had a rerun going on at the time. And then I saw that Carlotta was coming out, and I was like, "Yeah, Yinlin, you're gonna need to wait. This one is not one that I can afford to skip." So I got her, um, and then loved her gameplay, loved her voice. Jennifer English is so fantastic, um, as well as her role in the story. So I ended up going all the way. Yeah, everyone says that. Like she's still like I don't think she's as bad as everyone's making her out to be, and I did end up getting her during the anniversary when she reran again. But she is definitely a step down from a lot of the other um, 5 stars in the game. Speaking of which, I should give her back her gear. I think it is this one. Yeah. Her build is pretty stacked though, especially because I have this piece on her. Yep, one of my 3. There's this one. Um, Chacona has one. This thing. And then I want to say like last week or so, I think was when I rolled it. I got this one as well. You'll get one soon, trust. Manifesting it. The rolls are a little bit sad on this one, but hey, it's a 5 out of 5. We take those, right? I'm still working on my Chiso a little bit. She's almost done. I will still need to get her like actual weapon. Right now I'm on Jinsei signature, so the crit rate will go a little bit higher. Hi Evie. Yeah, it was probably because Jeremy raided. But welcome to the stream. Hope you had a nice dinner. Mm, I think I was going to wait to level these up until the double drop event happens next week. But no, even in her current state, she still works pretty well. Gonna be even stronger once I get everything lined up. Actually, how much pity am I on? Let's see. 30, 40, 47. Okay. So if I'm at 47, then potentially 25-ish pulls should do it. And we got 2 weeks left. I think I'll hit it. I think I'll hit it. Because there are still a couple of events that have yet to come up, and the tower will reset right before her banner's gone. So that's another 800 asteroids that I should be able to get. Okay. Let me see. Do I have... Okay, I have some wayplates that I need to spend. So let's go and do that. I'll just bring these 3. Why not? Evie, you would know about this, but yeah, because my Echo inventory is very close to being filled up, I have to run these instead of acid fields to not clog up my inventory as much. I'll take Liberation.
Obstruction. I will unravel it. Flicker into form. Pieces. This ends here.
This is also really fun to play. I know like a lot of people are not the happiest when it comes to her place in the meta right now, but I'm sure that's gonna improve. And hey, as long as she has at least a team to work well in, and she's like pretty fun to play, like that's good enough for now.
Now watch closely. Ha! Bait. On you go. Obstruction.
I'll take immunity. Yeah, for sure.
Nothingness. Deconstructed. Flicker into form.
Oh wow, that killed. I did not expect that. Yes, I'll take this. And then this is good. Uh, okay, that would have been nice, but I'll just take this instead.
Obstruction. Wave. I am on you go.
Ooh, good parry.
Taste my resolve. Foe, be my prey. Future. Reshape.
The cinematic finish.
Can you keep up?
All right, here we go. She does indeed. I would say, like, I mean,
Will
for
decide.
pretty much any character, S6 is going to be like the biggest jump, but
While the moon suffers,
Yuno's S6 in
I will
particular
remain the anchor.
basically just gives her like double the field time. Because if you know about how her kit works, essentially it's like um, you build up this concerto bar, and then you spend it on like a certain number of attacks, and then you're supposed to switch out, right? But what her S6 essentially like makes her do is one, it makes her enhanced heavy attack, which normally it doesn't really do much damage. It's more so there just to like be a support move for Augusta, but it turns it into like an actual nuke that hits stronger than her actual liberation. And it fills up this concerto bar and resets all your cooldowns. So it essentially makes it so that she gets double the damage that she normally would have been able to do.
Pleasing to
Because you
the eyes.
get the refresh on everything on top of like another nuke. So it definitely does help her out a lot. It's also why I think definitely at S6, I mean, even at S0, soloing with her is not out of the question, but at S6, she definitely has a very easy time just soloing. Like you'll see, if I go over to the hologram records, a bunch of these I beat like earlier on with Karada, but like you'll see a lot of them I actually do have solo clears with as my best time. Of course, there's one notable exception that doesn't use any S6 characters, that being Kelpie. Like I'm sure I can beat it with or the Karada team, but being both Arrow and Glacio Res, it makes things a little bit difficult to get a good time against that. Those times make you cry. You'll get there. You'll get there. Like probably not like this fast, but I think because one thing I do pretty frequently is a lot of my friends occasionally have trouble clearing like various stages in whether it's like Endgame, like Tower of Adversity, or Whimpering Waste, or sometimes like holograms. So I would go on like their accounts and try to clear it myself, and most oftentimes I do succeed. But their times generally end up like ranging somewhere between like a minute to like 3 minutes, somewhere in that range. I know it sounds like very wide, but it also depends on like what team they have, right? But I think once you get a good team and you really learn the mechanics of what the bosses do and like what tools you have to interrupt them or parry them or things like that, right? It'll be much easier to get like a nicer time. Like the one example I'll give is like Hecate, for example. Um, I think people would still agree that this is one of, if not the hardest hologram. And like it's one that gave me a bunch of trouble like early on when I wasn't as familiar with the game's engine. But the key to beating this one, right, is in her second phase when she's doing um like that whip move where she's like essentially just flying across the arena and like swinging the whip in like a circle, and each of those like whip swings have a parry window. There's some characters that can really take advantage of that, and like Cardathia, for example, something I've discovered is if you play her against Hecate on that second phase, all you have to do is mash the basic attack button the entire time, and it's going to auto parry all of those attacks. So that's like one way to make the fight a lot simpler. Um, if you play Carlotta, which like this boss was designed for Carlotta, um, something that I used to do was hold her liberation until she starts doing that, so that I can use my liberation. And since she has like the 4 shots, I would time those shots to where the parry windows would appear. And that would be like another way to like break her vibration bar relatively quickly while also dishing out a lot of damage. So there's like little quirks like that like for some characters it's kind of hard to abuse, but for others, if you find out how to really take advantage of the boss's mechanics with the tools you're given, you'll shave down a lot of time. No, yeah, like the whole build thing is like definitely a mood. Like there's some characters that I've gotten lucky enough to build them in like a few days. And then there are others, like Malupa, for example. I had the worst rolls for Lupa. I think I spent somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 2,000-ish tuners, and I ended up with 3 pieces that had double min roll crit stats. And I was like, okay, it's great that I got double crit and all, but you cannot seriously tell me that all of these are min rolls on both of the crits. And then the other pieces like just didn't have crit on them, and I was like, oh my god, like this has to be the worst building experience. Ironically, yes, Lupa was, I think, like I don't want to say it's necessarily harder, because like at least when Lupa came out, modifiers existed. Whereas when I was building Brant, that was during 2.1 and modifiers didn't exist at the time. And if you've ever tried farming the Tidebreaking Courage tacit field, you would know that those things are allergic to giving you ER3 costs on the Tidebreaking set. I swear, I think I farmed it for 2 weeks straight, including the double drop tacit field event, and I got maybe like 4 echoes with ER on the Tidebreaking set. Like the drop rates are horrible, but at least like the pieces that I did get, even though I didn't get many, um, they rolled decently well. Like I'll actually show you my brand build.
While the moon cycles,
Like, it's not
I
fantastic.
To
His
which
crit
stage
damage
will
is
life guide us
kinda
next?
eh, but the other stats are pretty good.
Well, whatever it is, I'll get
Because
going.
we have 262 ER, which anything above 250 is good, as long as it's not above 280. Um, Crit rate is really high. I definitely got lucky with some of the rolls. Um, Damage, as I've said, is relatively low. Basic is also kind of low, but this is offset by his signature, giving a lot of basic attack damage bonus. Yeah, I think if I got ER on every piece, then I would probably have like 270 something. Or actually, I don't know if every piece has ER. I don't think it does. Oh, it does. Never mind. Yeah, I guess it does. But yeah, this piece is pretty good. Only missing crit damage. This one's also pretty good. This one's good, though it could be a little bit better. We have a min roll attack percent and then a low roll ER. Maybe something with like double crit and a higher attack roll or a basic would be even nicer. This one's honestly like pretty good too. Double crit and ER. The crit stats are really nice. And then this one's fantastic. Like I will rework his build a little bit at some point because I do plan on eventually getting his S2. And if I get S2, I'll need to swap this dragon out for a crit damage one. That's why I'm holding on to all these other dragons. One day I'll roll them. Right now I'm just working on perfecting my Chisa build, so that's where all my resources are going. Like this piece is all set, it's actually really good. This piece is also very solid. I'm missing crit rate, but the thing about missing crit rate on Chisa is if you have her Sig, which I don't yet, but I plan on getting it, her Sig combined with her Ascension being crit rate makes it so that like essentially you can miss a crit rate roll or two and still have no problems at all using her. This one's okay. I actually borrowed this from Havoc Rover. Same with this other piece that I have on for Havoc Eclipse. I might look for something better because the crit stats are pretty low and the attack percent is low too. This one's really good. Pretty much has all the stats that I really need. And then this one I kind of want to replace. It's just a double crit stat stick, so ideally something nicer would be good. But yeah, that's where my progression is at. Yeah, it's a pretty good build, especially considering she hasn't been out for that long. Um, Really, I only am in a semi hurry to replace this one, which I'm gated by the Nightmare Nest. I could spend modifiers, but I was like, I actually have a bit of a situation in that I don't have a lot of tuners. So even if I did use modifiers to get the pieces that I could roll on, I actually can't roll on that many. So I was like, you know what? We'll take it slow. Just let the nightmare nests like drop to pieces, and once I have enough, I'll slowly roll them one by one. And the good thing about Chisa is, at least for the most part, since she is like a support, like granted, she's a support that deals a decent amount of damage, but she's still a support, right? So her not having the most perfect build is not as big of a deal as having like a good build on, say, like your DPSs. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna save them. I think I have like 70 or so, um, which sounds like a lot, but let's be honest, it's not. The other thing too is when 3.x comes out, very likely they will have new test fields and new echo sets. Um, and those, since we straight up will not have a lot of pieces available, chances are if we want to get like a build going very early on, we will need to use a lot of modifiers. So it's good to save. Yeah, Showkeeper doesn't really need the craziest build. As long as you have decent enough ER to make use of her Stellar Realm buffs, that's enough. Yeah, for sure. Like, I am glad that they're making these three-piece sets, but gating them all behind the Nightmare Nest is like, I don't think it's as good of an implementation as perhaps it could be. Because essentially there's two problems, right? One problem is there's um well, you're gated by like the daily number of echoes, which can be offset a little bit by using echo food, but that still is like only maybe like 14 or 15 of them a day. And the other issue is we don't get any enhancement materials. We don't get any tubes or tuners. So to get the materials to upgrade the echoes that you get from the Nightmare Nest, you need to go and do other tacit deals, which you may or may not even want depending on what character it is you're trying to build. So I do hope like well, obviously I want more tacit deals as well, but on top of that, I think it would be nice in 3.x if they gave us ways to directly farm the enhancement mats for the people who are only interested in leveling up the Nightmare Echoes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, for sure. I think I've been broke on tuners ever since 2.3. Um, because like 2.3 was when I actually pulled for, I believe, four characters. Because I pulled for
Cycles.
Chacona, I pulled for Zhang Liao
The
because
experiment?
I wasn't playing at the time that he was given out for free, but I still wanted him. I pulled for Jeja, and I pulled for Yenlin.
No rush. The impatient ones will
So
find
I
refuge
was
elsewhere.
busy building four characters, and that completely killed my tuner count. Oh, hi, French shooter. Great to see you here. Let me give you a shout out. I did the command wrong. It is slash. There you go. If you guys don't know French Shooter, he is a very fantastic Wuthering Waves creator. He makes a lot of informative guide content, and he streams every now and then as well. If any of you are interested in learning how to play Chisa and like need tips and tricks for gameplay in general, then his channel is definitely one to check out. What am I up to? I was pretty much just doing Whimpering Waste and testing out some different teams. Um, and once I was done with that, I was just catching up with the chat. Earlier on, I was on Jeremy Young Jones, the voice of Choyen. He was streaming, and he gave me a raid. So a lot of his community is here as well. So we've been chatting along. No, no, I think well, I think we have like knowledge that kind of meshes really well together because you have a lot of knowledge in theory crafting and like playing a lot of quick swap comps, while I think I just more so specialize in like the I don't want to say the casual aspects necessarily, but more like hyper carry focused optimizations, I would say. So having both is really good. And your videos are always helpful to get like a baseline down of what a character is supposed to do. Because I'll be honest, I read some of these kits and I'm like, what does that mean? Hi, Claire. Great to see you here. Like, the more recent ones are a little bit better, I would say. Like, Chisa's, I don't think it's like the most complicated, even though it is a lot of text. Like, once you get the hang of it, it's like pretty simple, right? But Zani's was the one that threw me for a loop for the longest time. I think to this day, I still don't fully understand her kit, but I think I played her enough to get a sense of what to do. Yeah, for sure. Is E6 Finon even real? He is real. No, for sure. It will be interesting when we see the 3.x characters come out, what kind of kits they have. Speaking of which, I knew you were talking in the Discord a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on the new characters? They definitely look really cool. Lene? Yeah, same here actually. Lene's my favorite. I think my second is probably Sigrika, I think her name is. Um, but no, all of them definitely look super interesting. Lucilla is also really nice. I don't think I'll go for her personally, but I know a lot of people like her. Apparently, she also heavily resembles a character in Reverse 1999. One of my friends actually messaged me about it. She was like, I actually found out that the Wuthering Waves like drip marketing happened because it ended up on like reverse 1999 subreddit. Yeah, they were like apparently it's like um Lucilla looks like Voyager's mother or something like that.
Understood. I
Uh
I'll do my best. While the moon cycles,
yeah.
anchor.
I didn't know about it at first, but after looking them up, I was like, okay, I can see the resemblance.
The detective knows
Okay,
the
this should be
art
good.
is
I'll give this another run. Yeah, it's been a long work in progress. You saw something about Luke looking from a character from, yeah, he looks a lot like Aventurine, actually, in Honkai Star Rail. Alright, let's see what we can do here.
fate. Revealed. On you go. Leave it to me. No evils be gone. With pleasure. Now watch closely. The moon is full.
Okay, mine are not like the best thing ever.
Present your offerings.
I won't say they're bad, but
Praise me. Fate in my mark.
my quick rolls are, let's just say they leave something to be desired.
On you go. Leave it to me. I've had my fun. Lying grass
Okay.
new. Evils be gone. Universe in my psyche. Like this? I'll indulge you. And on you go. Foe, answer my call.
Yeah, for sure.
Causality overturned.
Ooh, that's good.
Ordained.
Right.
Astral modulation. Banish
Yeah, no, I was telling them about you, Claire.
evermore.
You're the you're the resident
Like this?
arrow supremacy.
Face me, world, at my strength. Taste my resolve. On you go. Fate in my mark. Future reshaped.
I don't think I'll beat my old score, but we might be able to get kinda close.
At my strength. Vow from the soul. My turn to walk. In war with time.
Okay. Is that enough?
Evil
It
be
is.
gone.
Okay.
Like this?
I think I definitely could have played that one better, but score is still decent. 45-70. I think at some point I will actually try to lock in with Johnson's rotation um, and figure out what did I need to do to get that side to rotate faster. Alright, let's see what we can do with this. Actually, I'll start this a little bit differently. Yeah, I think the highest I've gotten so far with that team is 53-50. And I think like a little bit higher is probably possible, but it's gonna take some optimizations.
Come.
I kind of wanted them to all die before I switched to Cordia, but it's fine.
Oceans. Bow before me. Tide, rise and crash. Atonement.
Okay, I want to kill this guy. Oh, I did not need to switch.
Furious tides. Split.
This is fine. Ideally these things would be dead in time for my liberation, but that's fine.
Cutting through the numbers. Flicker, thanks for watching. Ta-da! A grand overture. Now presenting a full finale. Eric. Repent. For silence beckons. Charge forth with me. Tide, rise and crash.
I'm gonna extend the rotation a little bit just because I really don't want to nuke the one cost wave. I want to nuke this wave.
The heavens. A pivotal moment.
I like how you can see Chacona in the background.
Break apart. Thanks for watching. Flicker into form. Ta-da! A grand overture. Listen.
Yeah, I think I got a
Destiny.
4,500, maybe a little bit more than that.
True form. Reveal.
Cardia rotation easier with Chisa? I don't know about easier. It's kind of hard to judge which one's better. Because, I know on, like, you crafting Chisa or whatever, they say Chisa with her Sig is, like, a slight increase over, Air Rover on, like, all his stuff. But the thing about Air Rover, I think people don't necessarily pay attention to, is without doing like any sort of quick swaps and stuff, I do think Air Rover's rotation is quicker than Chisa's. Because Air Rover, for the most part, right, you come in, you do your still combo
Scissors at the ready.
once, and then in the middle of your second one, you do your liberation, enhance skill, and switch out. I think that's quicker than what Chisa does when she enters in. Now, granted, if you're working with the full negative status team, like, you know, Chacona and Cardathia, then you do get the benefits for both of those units. So, like, maybe the buffs are worth it. But I think it, like, heavily depends on what kind of mode you're running. Because sometimes that difference in rotation speed is going to matter more than having more damage every rotation, if that makes sense. Like, it all has to line up. Because, like, put it this way, if the rotation ends on Chacona on the Chisa team, but it ends with Cardathia on the Air Rover team, like, that would be a whole Cardathia rotation that you're missing out on. And especially in a mode like Whimpering Wastes, where, like, there is a set HP pool that you need to get through before, like, the next wave spawns. There's a fine breakpoint between being, like, just enough to kill everything in time and being overkill, right? So it's hard to say explicitly, like, which one's better. Like, I don't think mechanically they're the most different, but it's just a matter of, like, one takes a little longer than the other, but the other one gives, like, better buffs. But which one's more worth it to you, that depends on the context. I also can't really run, like, the fairest comparison right now because I don't have her signature yet. Yeah, a lot of people don't like playing him.
I will
Like
be there
I
for
don't
everyone,
mind playing
even
him,
if I
but
have to
there
erase
are
the future,
some
leaving the past behind.
aspects that I find to be like a little bit clunky. Um, of course, one of them kind of got fixed with this sequence node being interrupted like in the middle of your um, skill chains, right? But the other issues, like I think the biggest issue I have is the skill doesn't charge your forte unless you hit something with it. Which like why wouldn't you hit something with it? Is like what I think the argument is usually. But like we have all these bosses, right? Characters like or not characters, bosses like Tempest Mephis, for example. He's like teleporting all across the map. So there are times when you're in the middle of your skill combo, and that skill combo happens to be the one that would charge your forte up to full. But like because they teleport away in the middle, um, you don't get the charge. So then now you gotta do another resident skill and hope that it doesn't teleport this time. I think that's like the biggest issue for me, at least. Like he feels slow. I think that issue kind of gets solved like after your first rotation. His first rotation is a little bit slow for sure, but second onwards, I feel like it's smooth as long as you're actually hitting things with your skill to charge up his forte. And like interruption, like as much as I find it annoying at times, it's more manageable if you like study the boss a little bit. Because like once he's already in the air, I think like with this sequence node, he doesn't really get smacked out in the middle of his skills as much. It's usually that he gets smacked like while he's jumping up in the air and starting the skill chain. But once he's like already doing the skills, like I don't think he really gets interrupted much. So like that bit you can kind of optimize, like just, you know, delay it for like a split second, just enough for you to dodge that attack, and then you can go up to the air safely, and now you won't get interrupted as easily, right? So that part's like relatively easy to fix. But the issue with teleporting is like, okay, if it's teleporting for like 2 seconds, are you just gonna stand still for 2 seconds, or like, because there are other characters like I don't know, Shorekeeper that you can just like even if it's teleporting and doing all that other stuff, you can just, you know, do your thing, right? Same with Chisa, I would say. Like she's not the most forte reliant, but Arrow Over like absolutely needs to hit something. So that's kind of where his weakness is, I think. Timing is indeed everything. Also, I wonder when we're getting this last wave band. Um, maybe with start of 3.0. They definitely know about it too. Yeah, I was gonna say, because like if you actually look in the gallery and see how many characters have resistance to interruption or immunity to interruption in their like S1, it's actually kind of crazy.
Scissors at the ready.
Like this one is immunity to interruption. Um,
Your call,
Choyen,
your
I'm
call.
pretty sure is also
I'm ready.
immunity to interruption. Yeah, no longer can be interrupted. Golbrina, I believe, is also resistance to interruption.
Who gets the bullet? That's your call.
Yeah, yeah.
Your hand.
Demon Hypostasis, immune to interruption. And then of the other characters that I know of, um, Lupa gets immunity interruption during her heavy with her S1. Cantrell gets
The tide
immunity to
flows
interruption
ever
during
flow.
Perception Drain with her S1. Brand gets
Who
stagnation during his
whispers
S1,
within
which
our hearts?
that's basically like the same thing for the most cases because it slows down the enemy so
Whatever it is,
he doesn't
I'll
get
play my
interrupted
role to
as
the fullest.
easily. Rochia has immunity to interruption during her bounces with her S1. Pretty sure Camellia has something too.
What plan
Chang Li has something
we can
similar.
conquer
So yeah,
our
it's like
ingenuity?
half the cast has something to do with interruption resistance in their S1. So they definitely know about it. Yeah, no, Choyen getting smacked when you're jumping on the bamboo is pretty painful. But yeah, I wonder when we're getting that last sequence node. I definitely thought we would get it this patch too, but I guess they're saving it for 3.0. Because like now that I think about it, I think we got um Havoc Rovers. I don't know if it was the last sequence node or if we got like two of them from Renacida, but we definitely got at least one from the Renacida ones. No, yeah, I don't even know how that happens sometimes. And it's also like when he's getting down from the bamboo, I'm like, damn, like they really saw that move coming. Like yeah, I am glad though that it's like interruption instead of like something that's like hypercritical to having them function as a character. Because like there are exceptions, but in a lot of these cases, I feel like a lot of the interruption issues can get mitigated if you just have like better knowledge of like the opponent's like movement patterns and all that kind of stuff. Whereas if it was like a key buff or like a key attack that was locked behind the sequence node, then like that's not something you can really solve with, you know, better game knowledge or better execution, right? But no, that interruption thing is like definitely real. That's why I got
To which
Ramps
stage will
S1
life guide us next?
for the stagnation effect.
Well, whatever it is, I'll play my role to the fullest.
Yeah, Choyan does have his like new attack behind his S3, but at least it's like S3, which um I think his S3 is like at that point you're investing so much into the character to make him a main DPS. And if you're willing to go that far, then them having something like that is like fine with me, I think. Like if it was his S1 or like I don't know, S2 is like kind of stretching it, but the way I see it is like if you put like a whole new move in his like in any character's like first sequence node or something like that, then at that point it kind of begs the question of like why wasn't this in the base kit already? So if it's like further along, I'm more okay with it just because like at that point you're investing in a character to make them play in a way that is different from their core design. Because like any character above S3, I think it's like the performance difference is so large at that point that like you may as well be playing like a different version of the character. Yeah, I get you. Like you feeling that way is definitely valid for sure. Also, yeah, Claire, if you haven't seen it, I actually believe uh French Shooter has like a video on his channel showcasing S6 Choyen, and I think he might have shown that attack in his video, so feel free to check that out. Oh yeah, yeah, that as well. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, feel free to check his channel out. It's definitely one of the best ones in the WuWa creator space, in my humble opinion. I mean, when I streamed on, what was it, Monday? I did yours and I think like two others. Um, and then I did mine off stream, along with like a couple others. So I've done a bunch of them. Yeah. There's still a couple more that I have to do, but those ones I'm waiting a little bit just because either they can get some other characters or um, they need better builds. Like once they get better builds, I'm sure like they'll score higher. Yeah, yeah. And like all of them have varying levels of investment. Um, some of them, like Claire's, for example, is like pretty easy, even though she's free to play. Um, and then others, it's like, oh dear, like how am I gonna score high on this one? No, like yours are fine. Like even though your Chacona isn't like okay, her build is a little bit cooked, but everyone else is like in a solid enough shape that I don't think it's a problem. But no, some of the other accounts that I'm in is like they have all the pieces to get a full clear. It's just that they don't have like proper builds or level of investment into those characters. So like my advice to those is usually like work on building them a little bit more over the next like couple weeks, and then when it's closer to it resetting, I'll try it then, and then we'll see how we do. But it is fun, like trying out different teams and seeing like how well they all do, because that's really the judge of like how good a reset is. Um, Especially since my account is like very polar in the sense that half my characters are giga invested to the point that they are not relatable in any sense whatsoever. And then the other half of the roster is like, I don't want to say it's like bare bones, but it's, yeah, S6 Carlotta and S6 Uno.
I remain the
S6R5, sorry. Yeah, yeah. So like those ones, if I try clearing with them, then it's not relatable in any sense. And then if I try it with the other teams, it gives me like a better picture of what the reset is looking like, but also I don't have enough team diversity to really judge, right? Because it's pretty much either I try Mono Fusion or I try like Zhangli Yao Yinlin, which those are only two teams, and it can only tell me so much about um, what do you call it? Like what the state of the end game is. But if I go on other accounts and try out like the 1.0 Gion team, right? Like Gion Mortefi Shorekeeper or something, or try the likes of Camellia Sanhua Verena, like all these other teams, then I get a sense of like, okay, like this reset is clearable for like a free to play. This reset is easy for everyone, or this reset's doable, but it's really hard. So kind of from that aspect, it's really fun. And I also get to learn how to play a lot of the characters that I don't own myself, which definitely is like helpful for if I either want to pull them later or they show up in an event or something and I have to use them. You think we have these similar tastes in characters? Yeah. Funnily enough, I'm sure you know Raxophone. Um, he and I actually have like exactly the same taste. Like it's actually kind of uncanny because both of our favorite character in Star Rail is Jingliu. Um, and then his two favorite characters in WuWa happen to be Yuno and Carlotta, both of whom we both S6'd. Yeah, I guess all three of us have the same taste. Yeah, yeah. I think I saw. Same as us. We're forming a triad. Yeah. All right. With that said, though, I think I'll probably call the stream close to around here. To go eat and do some other stuff. Um, so thank you all for stopping by to the stream. This is actually definitely by far the biggest viewership that I've had. So much thanks to Jeremy for the raid again, even though he's probably asleep at this point. Um, yeah, happy Thanksgiving for anyone who celebrates. We're going to raid Brax. Um, all right. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you next time. All right. Bye. Mission accomplished.